Well, now, here with me behind on this board are actually 5 things that you must buy in this year 2024. Perhaps you've been asking yourself, okay, fine. What are these things that I ought to buy and actually improve my life and actually do something at the end of this year? All right, now, here I'm going to share with you each and every 5 of them. And I'm going to explain in a detailed way, each and every bit why I justify the thing that is worth buying with your money. As much as I talk about savings and other thing, these are the things that you must buy to improve your life. And guess what? I always upload, or rather, I always upload a video each and every day. So if you don't want to miss any of my good videos, do this. Doesn't cost you nothing. It's just free of charge. Down below, if you're on your right, there is a small button written subscribe. Also like the video, and let's get to the next point. All right. By the way, don't forget, if you're first time watching me, my name is Joseph. All right. Let's get the point now. Point number 1. If there is something that you ought to buy in this 2024 are stocks. All right, let me just call it another name, shares. Okay, depends on how you call it. You can call them shares, you can call them stocks, however you're gonna call them. All right. Well, there is a mixture of whoever, depends on who you are asking. People are anticipating this year 2024 things might, revamped back into the stocks. Actually, I was watching international news and India stocks are actually skyrocketing. They are actually shooting up there. So it is high time you can get yourself into. Well, I'm not saying that we should rely on India's information to make a decision with our country because, hey, different countries has different, sort of economies and all those kind of things. All right. But the point is this. Okay, fine. Stocks is one of the things that you're supposed to buy or invest into in this specific year. And again, I'm not saying that you go withdraw all your money and go invest into it. No, take this information with a pinch of salt. When I say it's the one thing that you're supposed to buy, obviously I mean, hey, that amount of money that you can afford to put into an investment and you can actually put it out there and wait for something to do, with terms of capital gains or maybe dividends or something of sort. I repeat, I did not say you go withdraw all your money and put it in stocks. But if I can just listen to the international news and also local news, African news and all those kind of things, there is a mixture of information. Hey, some are saying, hey, stocks are likely to bounce to revert back. Others are saying, hey, we're actually anticipating, even if not so much, downturn, but at least, sort of a positive remark as far as this year 2024 is concerned. So it's an area that you want to put yourself into so that at least you don't be the guys who be saying, I wish I knew, I wish I bought, all those kind of things. Okay. It's an area that you can, by the way, it's not a complicated process to buy shares or stocks, especially if you come from Kenya. It's not a complicated place. Actually, with a less than 300, you can actually buy those stocks or shares and you can get started. It's an area that hey, guess what, don't leave it behind. And by the way, from Kenya, we had our Nairobi Stock Securities Exchange was actually one of the poorly performed last year in 2024. And whenever we actually have like tanking or maybe them going down, there's always that time where they actually bounce back and everything becomes okay. So anyway, it's information that you can take it out there and do something as far as the investment is concerned. Also consider looking forward from your country where you're watching me from, so that you can be able to see which one is appropriate for you to go ahead and start it. And again, when I say stocks, and not just any stock, consider the companies that you're buying the stocks for, so that at least you can be able to do something. Anyway, perhaps if you do not know how to buy shares and you come from Kenya or you're watching me from Kenya, you can always pick my number from the description. I can be able to teach you step by step on exactly how you can be able to do it. Obviously, I charge for a cup of coffee's price. Yeah. Let's go to the next point. Now, the next thing that you're supposed to buy is actually networking and opportunities. What do I mean by this, and how exactly can you buy networking and opportunities? There are 2 types of things that you can actually use your money to as far as the social life is concerned. There is something called fit-in expenses. Let me just write it here for you. There's something called fit-in expenses. Okay, you don't want to fit in expenses. Fit in expenses are this amount of money that you usually use to make sure that at least you don't lose your friend. You do what they are doing because they're arguably your friend. There's what you usually do. Maybe in a weekend you have to drink and all those kind. You just want to have them. All right. Have you ever found yourself in such a situation? They're buying a car, so you ought to buy a car because you want to look like them and all those kind of things. Now, those are called fit in expenses, and these are liabilities. These are what? These are liabilities. They add nothing as far as the financial value is concerned into your life. Now, there is another expenses that you can incur, which is called you buying your networking and opportunities. For example, hey, I always tell people, if there is that individual whom you usually think and feel and believe that they have something that is so great that you can learn from them, why don't you welcome them for a coffee? Why don't you invite them? It will cost you, yes, because probably you're going to take them somewhere where it's a bit costly. But at the end of the day, what you're going to get out with from that individual, guess guess what? It's something that you can actually transform and change your life. Be friend with these guys, and perhaps sometimes it's good to. By the way, we in Kenya we usually have some these circles of people whom you need to subscribe to get into their circles for them to show you their gigs and also get into their the sort of how can I frame this one? It's a bit technical to frame it. There are these circles of people who usually they come together, they call them sort of a business communities and something of sort. Then for you to get enrolled into them, then you have to actually part with a certain price. And once you get in, this is what you start to gain. Connections are where you can actually buy some things where you can distribute. Some of them actually function as your clients, some function as your customers and all those kind of things. Well, if you do not manage to actually get access of them, you can always find out some people whom you can actually gain some, even if it means you parting ways with some money for you to actually be in that circle where they are in, so be it. That's what we call buying your networking and opportunities. Going for the seminars, wherever maybe you have some people are preparing for seminars, okay, you be there. Even if it means you paying for that seminar, you go to that specific place, learn. In the process, you interact with people, you exchange numbers, you share ideas, and out of that place, you actually get to gain a lot of things. So that's what we call gaining or maybe paying for the opportunities, and also what we call the networking and connections, because that's what brings difference and that's what brings greatness in people's lives. Okay, now let's get to the another one. The other one is about self-improvement and what we call when we say self-improvement here, we mean like buying books, buying what we call the master classes, also visiting to those seminars and all those kind of things. So self-improvement is the thing that you're supposed to buy in this year 2024. For example, let's say you usually have a weakness in terms of financial management. You ought to be buying some books, that can actually improve your life. Personally, I do have some books that can actually improve your life. For example, I have books about shares, I have a book about money market fund, treasury bills, treasury bonds. If you want to invest into something like rates, I have all those booklets, meaning I've actually gotten all that information in a summarized it to make it brief and easier for you to consume and digest it, actually assimilate it, and also execute the idea. All right. So it is good to make sure that at least you invest on books, you invest on seminars, you invest on master classes, you invest on those kind of areas. And obviously, when I say something, you ought to buy something that you know it's actually effective and can actually be able to help you. So those are the thing, or that is the thing that you're supposed to buy in this 2024. It's not always good to sit back with your idea somewhere, or maybe sit somewhere and you have a weakness, or you have an area that need to be polished or something or sort. It's always good to be out there, try as much as you can so that you can improve your life and be able to progress to the next level. That is an ultimate thing that you're supposed to do. It is not an excuse in 2024. It's a thing that you must use, utilize, and also be at all the time in cooperation with it. All right. Now, the other thing is about skills and knowledge. When you talk about skills and knowledge, or skills and education, depends on how you improve it or frame it. Okay, let's say you have close to zero skills. Well, I do not subscribe to the understanding that people or some people have zero skills. No, you must have something that you already know. But if you maybe you do not have that skills that you can be able to go out there, disseminate those services and exchange in terms of the returns, then you ought to equip yourself with appropriate skill that can help you to improve your life and be able to progress to the next level as far as the finance is concerned. You can actually decide to go ahead and learn some skills that you can actually, for example, digital marketing. You can learn some skills about affiliate marketing. You can learn some skills about video editing. You can learn about coding, web design, graphic design, photoshopping, and all those kind of making some for example, we content creators love people who actually do what we call thumbnail making. We can be able to do what we call social media management. You have to learn something, copywriting and all those kind of areas. Those are skills that you can actually learn. And by the way, well, I know probably you can actually learn these skills for free, but there's some website where if you want to get some premium information, you have to part with some few coins. For example, if you go to the skills to the website like Skillshare, Udemy, is it Unison or Unison, something of sort. There's some several areas whereby you can actually learn these skills and be able to improve your life. Right. So don't make sure that at least don't be out there and saying, hey, I do not have skills, where can I learn them? Even in YouTube, this whole YouTube thing, you can actually learn a whole of a new skill for free. All right, you don't even need to do nothing. You just have to learn something from this YouTube and be able to get that knowledge that you can actually utilize it for you to improve your life. The last one but not the least is about the health and wellness. Guess what? We always talk about money, we always talk about wealth, we always talk about improving, but sometimes we forget to talk about the health. Okay, What I say about the health and wellness, hey, how about maybe you realize you're overweight? You can actually subscribe to a gym. You can actually subscribe to an aerobic whereby you get to burn some calories. You can actually improve, some get into some things like eating healthy, making sure that at least you check your common thing like the blood pressure, like all those kind of things to make sure that at least you're well conversant with, because we always say, hey, a healthy nation is always a what? A wealthy nation. Hey, I know you're not a nation, but the fact is there is nothing like a nation without a human being, and there is nothing with a human being without an individual soul. All those small units of individuals actually in collective makes a nation. So it's always good to make sure. And by the way, let me tell you one secret. If you don't take care of your health, actually this can actually take a lot of money from your life. Maybe once you maybe you get some non-communicable diseases, you requires a lot of attention, not only money but also time and all those kind of things. So it's always good to make sure that you monitor all these things so that you remain good and productive as far as your life is concerned. And by the way, guess what? That marks the end of my video, but not the end of me posting a video each and every time. So if you don't want to miss one of my good videos, make sure that you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. Tell me what you think. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.